do you hate Jewish people?
No, I don't.
Then why do you spew such hatred about them?
Well, I don't like what they've done. I don't like what their religion preaches. I don't like what's going on in Israel. I don't like their influence over our government.
What do you like about Jewish people?
I mean, I would say on average, they're more intelligent.
That's it?
It wants to, promote this anti-Muslim, this hatred for Muslim, like they're all, these terrorists. And I think the Israelis are the terrorists. I think they are the ones perpetuating the big acts of terrorism. And, nobody wants to talk about that.
And what do you say to Jewish people who may watch this and be utterly horrified by what they're hearing?
Okay, so most of you know Dan Bilzerian, right? The parties, the yachts, the crazy lifestyle, but that guy is gone. The Dan sitting in front of Piers Morgan today has one thing on his mind, and it has nothing to do with any of that. He is here to say the things that nobody in mainstream media will touch. And Piers had absolutely no idea what was about to hit him. Watch this whole thing because I promise you it gets wild.
When you have a religion that promotes supremacy, when you have a religion that says that you are better than other people, and when you have a religion that says it's okay to steal from other people as long as they're not Jewish, when you have a religion that says it's okay to rape people that aren't Jewish, when you have a religion that talks about having sex with, kids that are under 3 years old, when you have a religion that promotes these things and promotes supremacy, I think you're going to have problems. And you see that in Israel. Israel is a manifestation of that religion. And I think that religion is, it's terrible. I don't believe in white supremacy. I don't believe in Jewish supremacy. I don't believe in supremacy at all. And right now, I think you have massive Jewish supremacy.
You sound like a Nazi.
I mean, why do you say that?
That's literally what Nazis would have said in World War II. They would have literally articulated their hatred of Jewish people and the reasons why in exactly the way you've just done.
I don't have a hatred for Jewish people.
You do?
I don't like a religion that says that they're better than other people. And what's that?
Well, you do. You obviously do. It's blatant. No one watching this will draw any other conclusion. I'm staggered about how brazen you've been.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't like it when people think they're better than other people. And you see that in Israel, and they're acting like that, and they're treating Palestinians like second-class citizens. They're treating them like subhuman beasts. And it sells that in their Talmud. So it says if you are not a Jew, that you are basically subhuman. And I don't think that Judaism and Christianity go hand in hand. I mean, they believe that Jesus is in hell burning in human shit, and they believe that the Virgin Mary is a whore. So I don't think those are two religions that really intersect very well. But, we've been programmed that they do, and we've been programmed that it's okay and that Jews are the chosen people, and I just disagree with that. I think everybody's equal.
Do you even comprehend how this interview is going to play out when it airs?
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be bad. But, my opinion is not politically correct, but I believe that is the truth.
You're living in Qatar now.
Well, that's where I'm at right now. I'm not living here, but visiting.
Right. Is it the case that you feel safer to spew this kind of stuff from Qatar than you would spewing it in the United States?
Well, I mean, I've had a lot of Jewish people attack me since I started standing up in support of Palestine. When I started saying things that were against Israel, I found that I had my Jewish business manager tried to extort me. I had lawyers do things that were illegal, and I found a lot of just hatred from the Jewish community because I was speaking out against a genocide, and that really opened my eyes to what's going on.
You know why Jewish people?
Like I said, rarely is it the case that people on the right side of history are the ones that are trying to silence people.
Yeah, the reason Jewish people may dislike you is because of your obvious hatred for them and everything they stand for. I mean, you've literally spent the last 20 minutes on an anti-Semitic rant that makes Kanye look like a choir boy. I'm staggered, but also bemused as to what you think you'll gain from this, other than you're just laying bare your anti-Semitism for everyone to see.
You see what Piers just did there? He is not arguing against anything Dan actually said. He is just trying to make Dan look like a Nazi, trying to make him look like Kanye, because if he can make you see Dan that way, you stop listening to the actual point. That is the oldest trick in the book. You can't beat the argument, so you attack the person. And Dan didn't even flinch. He just kept going, because what Dan is actually saying is so simple. I don't believe any group is better than another. Any group, Muslim, Jewish, Christian, anybody. That is not hate. That is literally equality. But Piers doesn't want to have that conversation. Like, he doesn't want to talk about what is actually written in the Talmud, things that most people have never been told about, things that are in there word for word. He would rather just keep pushing the same narrative that we have all been fed our whole lives, like it is the only truth that exists. And here's the thing, just because something has been repeated 1,000 times does not make it a fact. Dan knows that. That is why he is sitting there unbothered. Do you think Piers actually challenged anything Dan said, or did he just dodge the whole conversation and drop it in the comments? Because Dan is about to take even more control of this interview, and Piers is not ready.
I don't think I'm going to gain anything. I think it'll be horrible for me. But it's what I believe. I don't think that Jews like Christians, and you see it when they killed them during the Holodomor, the Bolshevik genocide. I mean, the Bolsheviks, the leadership was 84% Jewish, and they were just mass killing Christians, and nobody talks about that.
Let me just ask you one more time. Let me just ask you one more time to be honest.
History books don't cover that.
Right, let me just ask you one more time, just for clarity. I think you should be honest. But do you hate Jewish people?
No, I don't.
Then why do you spew such hatred about them?
Well, I don't like what they've done. I don't like what their religion preaches. I don't like what's going on in Israel. I don't like their influence over our government. So,
What do you like about Jewish people?
I mean, I would say on average they're more intelligent.
That's it?
I mean, I don't have too many. I mean, look, there's 2 billion Muslims, but everybody wants to, promote this anti-Muslim, this hatred for Muslim, like they're all, these terrorists. And I think the Israelis are the terrorists. I think they are the ones perpetuating the big acts of terrorism. And, nobody wants to talk about that.
And what do you say to Jewish people who may watch this and be utterly horrified by what they're hearing?
They can be horrified. I mean, I was horrified to find that they mass murdered Christians. I was horrified to learn the things that they teach in the Talmud. I was horrified that they think that Jesus is burning in shit in hell. I was horrified that they think that the Virgin Mary is a whore. I was horrified to learn that they think it's okay to steal from Gentiles. I was horrified to hear that there's, 2 sets of justice. I was horrified to find out that they think it's okay to, gang rape Palestinian prisoners. I was horrified about all those things. I'm horrified that we're funding a genocide right now. So they can be horrified.
Dan Bilzerian.
Okay, so watch what Piers does here. He completely gives up on the argument, like totally abandons it. And now he is asking Dan, okay, so what do you like about Jewish people? You see what just happened? He switched from debating to trying to embarrass him because he had nothing left. That is what losing an argument looks like. And Dan just answers it straight with no hesitation, no panic, nothing, just calm. And then Dan brings up something that most people have literally never heard of. The Bolshevik genocide, 84% Jewish leadership mass killing Christians. That is in the history books, just not the ones they give you in school. Think about that for a second. And here is what really gets me. Dan already knew this interview was going to destroy him publicly. He said it himself. He knew it was going to be bad for his career. His own business manager tried to extort him just for speaking up. His own lawyers went against him. People he trusted turned on him. And he still sat in that chair and said everything anyway. That is not someone who is doing this for attention. That is someone who genuinely believes he is telling the truth. Meanwhile, Piers is sitting there acting like the mainstream media is some holy source of truth that nobody is allowed to question, calling Dan an anti-Semite for caring about Palestinian human rights, for questioning the influence of a foreign government over the U.S. Like, those are crazy things to care about. Dan is not perfect, but in this interview, he did something most people are too scared to do. He said what he actually thinks with the cameras rolling, knowing the whole world was watching. Do you think Dan won this interview, or did Piers? Let me know in the comments. And if you want more videos like this, make sure you subscribe right now, because we are just getting started.
This is the state of the modern right wing. What you just witnessed isn't just a fringe interview. It is the logical conclusion of the MAGA movement's obsession with unfiltered truth and anti-woke rhetoric. While the corporate elite and billionaire-funded media outlets try to paint these figures as mere eccentrics, the reality is far more dangerous. The GOP and their MAGA base have spent years cultivating an environment where objective truth is a choice and radicalization is a badge of honor. By claiming to stand for equality and free speech, they provide cover for the most toxic ideologies to re-enter the mainstream. This is the playbook of the corporate elite. Divide the people through religious and ethnic animosity so we stay too busy fighting each other to notice. They are looting the treasury. Make no mistake, the rhetoric we are seeing here labeling entire groups as terrorists and invoking debunked historical grievances is a direct threat to the common good. It is designed to fracture the solidarity of the people. When the right wing talks about influence over government, they aren't talking about the lobbyists or the fossil fuel industry. They are using dog whistles to target specific communities, ensuring that the real corporate masters stay in power. The Republican establishment stays silent because this radicalization serves them. It keeps their base angry, mobilized, and focused on culture wars rather than the fact that we don't have universal health care, living wages, or climate protections. They are sacrificing our social fabric at the altar of political power. They call it being politically incorrect. We call it for what it truly is, a desperate attempt to burn down our democracy to save their profits. We see through the mask. The confrontational lifestyle influencers and the MAGA politicians are two sides of the same coin, feeding a narrative of supremacy and division that only benefits the 1%. They want you to believe that your neighbor is your enemy so you don't look up and see the corporate boot on all of our necks. Their truth is nothing more than a recycled weapon of mass distraction used by the ruling class for centuries. The elite are counting on our silence. They think we are too tired or too divided to fight back. Prove them wrong. We are building a movement that puts the people before profits and solidarity before supremacy. Here is how you fight back right now. Expose the agenda. Share this video. Don't let these radical narratives go unchallenged in your digital circles. Sunlight is the best disinfectant for right-wing extremism. Organize locally. Join a grassroots, progressive organization. The corporate elite have the money, but we have the numbers. Power comes from the bottom up, not the top down. Demand accountability. Flood the offices of GOP representatives who refuse to condemn this radicalization. Let them know that we see who they truly represent. The common good is not a gift from the elite. It is something we must seize. Together, we can dismantle the machinery of hate and build a future that belongs to all of us. Resistance is not optional, it is a necessity.